Kumusta mga Exile? Game Ross here. Welcome to another my budget build guide. And in this video, I'm gonna talk about my Herald of Purity Dominating Blow Guardian. And to begin this guide, I'm gonna talk about my unique items. First is this Cold Iron Point Dagger. And I'm using 2 of these daggers, and each of these daggers gives +3 to level of all physical spell skill gems. And that includes your Herald of Purity. And these daggers doesn't really improve the damage of your dominating blow minions, and that's why I switched to this rare claw and this lion eyes remorse shield. And this shield is basically gives you more defense. And for the claw, I'm using this Gemini claw because it gives you life and mana gain per hit, and I just added this minion damage. And I just switch to this cold iron point whenever I fight bosses. And also I'm using this grip of the council, which gives my minion extra cold damage. And lastly, I'm using this essence worm and set ring, and I'm using 2 of these rings. And in these rings I'm using summon skitter bots and hatred. And I just put summon skitter bot on this ring because so I can fit all of my auras in my mana. And for the rare items, just get high life and max your elemental resistance. And for the helmet, try to get this +1 to maximum number of sentinels of purity. This helmet can get very expensive, especially if the helmet have high life and high elemental resistance. So what you can do, like what I did, I just bought a regular rare helmet with high life and high elemental resistance, and just keep running Eternal Lab till I get this enhancement. Also, try to get as many dexterity on your rare items because you're gonna need it for your gem requirements. And I anointed this amulet with Ravenous Horde, which gives my minion increased movement speed, increased damage, increased attack speed, and also chance to gain onslaught on kill. And for this, you're gonna need 1 verdant oil and 2 opalescent oil. Lastly, for these boots, it says here socketed gems are supported by level 20 Fortify. Now this is totally not required, but it helps because it gives you additional defense. And this is where I put my Cyclone. And for the flask, I'm only using defensive flask since the flask doesn't really apply to your minions. And I'm using granite flask for more armor, basalt flask for increased additional physical damage reduction, a quicksilver flask for increased movement speed, and amethyst flask for chaos resistance. And for the gem setups, on my body armor, I'm using Herald of Purity and level 21 dominating blow. And this gem is very cheap. You can get it for 2 to 3 chaos. And they are supported by minion damage, main, rootless, and melee splash. Now this melee splash is very important on map clearing because with this you can summon your dominating blow minions with just 1 hit. And of course your minion will have a melee splash effect. And against boss fights or single target, I just switched melee splash with Fortify. And on my boots, I'm using Cyclone, Casual Channeling, Spirit Offering, and Desecrate. And on my dagger, I'm using level 11 Frostbomb, level 11 Steel Skin, and level 2 Cast when damage is taken. And on my other dagger, I'm using Ball Haste, Generosity, and Smoke Mine. And on my helmet, I'm using Armageddon Brand, Curse on Hit, Vulnerability, and Punishment. And lastly, on my gloves, I'm using Summon Carrion Golem with melee physical damage, minion damage, and Fortify. For the Pantheon, I'm using Soul of the Brine King for the 2-second stun immunity, and Soul of Grotkull for the additional physical damage reduction. For the Ascendancy, I'm using Guardian, and I'm using this Radiant Crusade for the 20% to all elemental resistance. And while there are at least 5 nearby allies, you and your allies will have Onslaught, and while they're at least one nearby ally, you and your ally will deal 10% more damage. And also, I'm using this Unwavering Crusade, so your minion will have increased damage, increased attack and movement speed, and also your minion will intimidate enemies on hit. And if the enemies are intimidated, they will take 10% increased attack damage. And also, I'm using this Bastion of Hope, and this will basically gives you more chance to block. And lastly, this Time of Need, which reduce the effect of curse on you, and every 5 seconds removes curse and elemental ailments from you, and regenerate 30% of your life over 1 second. And for the skill tree, just grab those life and minion nodes, and also grab this reduced mana reservation so you can fit all of your auras. And if you're a little short on dexterity, you can always get this node, which gives you more dexterity. And I'm using this Whisper of Doom for an additional curse, and this Golem Commander, which gives you 1 to maximum number of Golem. And I'm using this Summon Carrion Golem because this Golem will give your minions additional physical damage. And since you have 2 Summon Carrion Golem, this buff will be doubled. And also, this Resolute Technique, and even though your minion is doing the killing, you still need to hit your enemies so you can summon your minions. And lastly, for the jewel, try to get some dexterity and maximum life, minion attack speed, and additional physical damage. And I think that's all I can say for this build. Thank you for watching. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Magkita na lang tayo sa susunod na video.